Okay, let's see how this goes. HD. That looks way cleaner. Okay. Alright, so let's see here. Turn on chat. Okay. So there. Okay. Wow. Okay. Feel free to chime in, guys, if you want to. There's a live chat there on the right-hand side, or can't hear very well. I'm talking a little quiet, and I've got kids in bed, so let's see if I can bump that up a little bit, guys. Let's see, try that. And I can try that. I've got headphones on too, so I'm trying to keep them on and off. I'll try and move my mic up a little bit. Okay. Might get a little louder there. Ooh, I can tell I'm clipping though. That's... There. That should be much better. Okay, so let's see. What have we got going on here? There. That there. Okay, we'll do one more thing quick. Okay, anyways, let's see. Kind of show you guys what I did to get to this image here. Let's see, what we got? I think it's just you and me, Nia. Okay, so getting to this was a little different. Took a whole bunch of shots. Didn't get a shot of the flashlight, but this was the light that I was working with. This is just an ambient light shot. Excuse me. Let's see. Specs. This one was on a 50mm lens. I shot this one at f1.4 for a quarter of a second. A little more breakdown. These are all shot on a tripod, and I'm using a remote trigger, and I've also got the mirror lockup set up on the camera. Anything to keep the camera from moving through doing this will help save you a lot of time in post-production. So I just started out with a flashlight, and I've gone and modified a piece on the end of it. Don't have it handy to show you, but it's basically got a modifier on it, and I can go and move it around. This one's just above it, and I've gone to about an f13 on the aperture at a 1-second shutter speed, and then I just kind of move the light around to see where I can get some nice highlights. And I just start lighting it up in different shots here. And we just change it up, just changing the angle, going where it's at. There you can see part of my makeshift modifier on it. That's I think a 3500 lumen flashlight. It's kind of like a mag light, and use a piece of cardboard and some diffusion material that I've got, and just kind of rolled it up in a tube, made it kind of a lightsaber piece with a piece of aluminum foil on the inside. So you can see I move the camera around, or move the light around, just to grab different spots on here. So I may have to be right back. I think I hear somebody calling for me. Hang on just a second here, Nia. Okay. Oh, sorry. I'm going to take another stab. Naya then, right? Not Nia. Naya. Okay. So... Okay. Sorry, guys. I took off for a minute. My daughter's been fighting some RSV the last few days, and she's been getting a little better, but she was just coughing, so... Alrighty. Okay, so actually these images are out of order in Lightroom, but that's okay. I'll come back over here. Okay, so I made it to about here on these images, showing you guys kind of what I did with moving the light around. It's almost better to get more than enough different lighting angles when you're doing light paintings like this, so that you can go in and you can pick and choose which parts you want to use. That's what's really neat about doing this. And I think on these, I don't think I used these. So I'm not sure what you guys are using, but here in Lightroom, I've gone and I've just made some minor adjustments. Basically just turning on my lens correction here, drops the vignettes off. I have not applied any sharpening or noise reduction or anything really outside of that. I mean, if you needed to adjust a few things, you can, and then just batch sync them all up. But once you're batched out, you can go and you can grab the ones that you want to use. And this one here. And then what I'm going to do is right click, edit in Photoshop. I'll come over here to Photoshop. It'll take it a minute to load up here. It's going to batch process these out. What it's going to do is when you do that, it's going to open all of these images as separate layers. Oh, no, I hit the wrong key. Sorry. Right click, edit, open as layers in Photoshop, I'm sorry. Now once it catches back up, let's see, I'm gonna give it a moment here and let the computer catch up. But if you guys are curious, the system I'm using here, I built myself. This one's running on a Core i7 processor. It's got, I think I'm maxed out at 32 gig of RAM, and I am here, we'll just do this. Window. Just close all. I'll just do it that way quick. It won't take it near as long to open them as layers. Anyways, it's a Core i7 processor running, I think, 4 gigahertz. We can tinker and look for real quick. Oop, not that one. Yeah, running 4 gigahertz. I'm running on 32 gig of RAM, and this one I'm using Windows 7. Windows 7 Pro. I haven't gone over to Windows 10. I don't really care for it. But the hard drives are solid state drives. Things work rather fast. And of course it's Windows, so things crash here and there. So anyways, each one of these layers now is about 23 megabytes. It's each one's the raw files that are being brought in here. You can see the size of the Photoshop project's already getting up to 120 meg. So there. Okay, so we've got our images brought in here as layers here in Photoshop, so we can turn them all on and off individually. So kind of what I work with here is I kind of start with a base. I kind of liked how this background came out on this one. So actually you'll duplicate this layer and just call it a background. Bring it down to the bottom. And then you just start grabbing layers and start painting your masks. So what you'll do is you start with your first layer here. You can grab your mask tool. Makes it a layer mask. And what you can do is you make sure you've got your mask selected. Go over and grab your brush. If you've got a tablet or a pen tab, it'll work real nice for you. Except it won't go over to my other window for some reason. So I'll just use my mouse for tonight. So right now we're painting on a white sheet. When you go in and you mask, you can go in and paint black on white or white on black. Right now we're going to paint out with a black, and it's the spots that you want, but you're going to make them disappear. So I say, okay, I like this highlight here, so I'm going to paint it out. Paint out this curve here. You can already see just by doing this how things are going to start working together. You come over, select your mask. You can hit Control-I, will invert your mask. And you can see already we've started doing some work here. And then I just kind of work my way down which parts and pieces out of each image that I want to use. Make a new mask. Okay, I want this in here, this one here. And then I can grab some of this. And invert it. And turn it off. Grab my next layer, and I just keep working my way down. Kind of a neat technique. I learned how to do this from a couple of other guys on YouTube. You can see how some of that's going to come through. There's another guy that I follow. Okay, I'm actually going to pause for a second here. We need to hit the X key if you want to flip your painting colors, your black and white. I'm going to put this back because I don't want it on this layer. I want it on another one. So grab this one. And if anybody's got any questions, feel free. You can chime in on the YouTube side or on the Facebook. You can just shoot me a message or a comment on there. Oops, I gotta flip that back. I want some of that, some of this, some of this one. See how subtle some of this is, but you just want to grab kind of the areas that you want to work with on each of your layers, and then you can come back in and we'll go back through and fine-tune things. So maybe some more of these highlights here on this one. And this one took a lot from the front, so I'm gonna, this one I really like how the coloring's set up, how it's got a nice soft light to it. So we're going to go, I'm gonna make my brush bigger. And this one's, next frame's a little brighter. You can see on this one, we can flip back and forth. You can see the angle of the light change in the reflection. So we're going to invert that. And this one, we'll probably grab some of this here. Oops. Helps if I'm painting on my mask and not on the picture. And I'm going to shrink it down a little, and I want that. You can see just, it's real neat how all this works together. Actually, we can see what we got so far. You can kind of see some of the areas that we've already got selected. Some of these will work. Oops. Some of these will work. You can just move your layers around depending on how you want them. You can change your opacity levels on them. When you do that, though, you'll want to make sure that you watch if anything's shifted. You can kind of see how it gets a little shifty in there. So like text and any fine details, you'll just want to watch for. But you can already see kind of how that came out, or how it's coming out. And I mean, you can spend as much time as you want or as little time as you want on these light paintings. They're fun to work with. I mean, you can go to town on it and just have as much fun as you want. Do as little work or as much work as you want. All the details in. See, that was this one. So you can use your invert and you can see kind of where you're working with, or you can isolate it. See what you're working with here. So let's actually paint these out. And light painting like this is actually quite forgiving too. Okay. I guess I can more or less talk over the video here, but let's see. Okay, you can kind of see, like these highlights here. I can see how it shifted. Some of the details shifted. So drop the opacity. Yeah, it's not really helping me much. I'll just hit V. I'll adjust just a little bit here. There we go. And you can go in. See how I can turn off a layer, how I've got a little bit of brightness in here on the handle. If I want to bring some of that in, I can grab the brush. It looks like I've masked it off, so we can bring some of that back. Oop. You can change your flow down on your brush tool can add it back subtly. I went way too slow on my flow. No, wrong color. And you can adjust your painting how you want. Let's see. See what we got here. Kind of cheat a little and move ahead here so I can finish this one up. Oh, where we are. So here we'll grab some of the lens elements. Oh, turn my flow back up here. Yeah, we should be okay there. Oops. Which one? This one. Just by painting it out here, you can kind of see what we got working. Oh, that's kind of what I did with this image here. Worked with it quite a bit compared to going through it just now. But you can go in here, and if you're working between Lightroom and Photoshop, you can save here in Photoshop. And then we can jump back into Lightroom. It should bring it back in automatically for us. There it comes. Where are we at? There it is. Nope, that's not it. Over in my library panel. There were my other two. Oh, maybe it didn't. Excuse me. So I'll take a peek and see where I can find it. Let's see, it says it's in here. Weird. Oh, there it is. It just wasn't in the... Oh, I didn't put it over into my folder there. Okay. So anyways, so here it is. Now we can make our final adjustments in Lightroom. We're still working with the full resolution RAWs. They've still got a lot of the information in them because it's inside of a TIFF file. I've got it set up that that's how I edit in Photoshop, is a multi-layer TIFF. So we can adjust our contrast a little, up or down. We can crush our blacks down if we want to. Bring them in a little bit. We can adjust our contrasting curve. One of the neat things I liked about some of this is you can go in and do your Nik filters in Lightroom. We can come in here and we can add some sharpening. Oh, that was the other thing I didn't show you on here. In Photoshop, you can use a high pass sharpening tool and you can isolate any other areas that you want to. But that is fairly sharp there. I'll actually bring up some of the exposure. There we go. And then what we'll do is we will say edit in, we'll go color effects, and then I'm going to edit a copy of it, because if you edit the original through this direction with Nik filters, it will basically destroy your editability in Photoshop if you find an error that you want to go in and fix. And basically the only thing that I did in color effects was I used the detail extractor. We'll do this quick. I think my wife's on her way home, so we'll be able to finish this up and see her when she gets home. Let's see. Was it that one? Yeah. Let the contrast up a little bit. Bring my saturation back up. Right about in there. That was about somewhere where I went with it. And then you save it, and then it pops right back into Lightroom, and it's set up right there in Lightroom. If you've got export modules set up in there that you can go and you can export everything out. I've got it set up to export with to Facebook. It's got the resolution set up, and then watermarking and everything's all automatic in there for me. So, no, I hope you enjoyed it. Let's see. I can compare these two. So that one was one that we just walked through. And this is the other one that I worked on before. And there you go. You can see even just walking through it differently, the different outtakes or the outcomes that you can have with it. So, well, I hope you guys had fun watching. And I will go ahead and I will hop off the stream. If you guys have any questions on this, feel free to comment on the thread or message me on Facebook. I'll try and help you out as best I can. Have a good night, guys.